George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation, celebrating people we feel good about. Michelle Brooks Rowling is the executive director of the Upstate Minority Economic Alliance in the CUSE. What does it do? We know what it does. It helps to support minority-owned businesses in the region. And here to give us an update on some recent events happening with UMEA is Michelle. By the way, let's talk about the February 16th exclusive UMEA reception with Micron. How did that go? And how did that come together?
Well, first of all, George, thank you again for having me on your show. It's always a pleasure. On February 16th, UMEA hosted 4 of Micron's top executives in order to introduce them to our audience and to make sure that they are aware of the presence of minority and women entrepreneurs and business owners in our region.
And for those that don't know, UMEA works in concert with the Chamber of Commerce. Tell us what UMEA does for those who don't know, because maybe there's somebody that doesn't.
Certainly. So UMEA stands for Upstate Minority Economic Alliance. We are Syracuse and Central New York's regional minority chamber of commerce, the only in the 16, county geographic region. We are an affiliate chamber of Center State, the county's lead, regional economic development center. But by the same token, we also march to our own drumbeat, our own, we have our own bylaws, our own board of directors. And for those who may be unfamiliar with what a chamber does, we essentially advocate on behalf of minority business owners. So, once I get past the vision and mission statement of the organization, what I tell folks, George, is that my role as the executive director is to steer and help facilitate commerce in the direction of minority entrepreneurs and business owners in a way that helps them to prosper.
I've never heard you refer to UMEA, Upstate Minority Economic Alliance, as a chamber of commerce. And I guess it makes sense that you're affiliated with the chamber, have your own board and everything, but I never heard it said quite that way. And that's really clear to me what a chamber of commerce does: links up and supports businesses and promotes business opportunities, promotes growth, particularly within this population. So I didn't hear that before. Did I miss it, or is it more explicit in the messaging now?
The latter.
Okay.
The latter. I've learned to be even more intentional in terms of describing UMEA what it is, which is a chamber of commerce.
Right. Thank you for that, because I was like, I never heard this language before. So this is good. This is good. And of course, you're out there. Your job is to make the connections. And I've seen you in action doing just that, making the connections. And so at this reception that happened a couple of months ago, the reason why we're talking about this now is it's significant is because there were the people that you really needed to know to do business with this multi-billion-dollar company. The person who, and I've met a couple of the Micron executives who are front-facing, like Fran and Robert, but they said that's the person you really need to know. Talk about that, Michelle.
Certainly. Well, I don't want to be remiss and forget to thank you publicly for serving as MC for that event. As a UMEA member, chamber member, I might add. But yes, so Dr. Robert Simmons, who is on the Micron Foundation side of the fence, along with Fran Dillard, who is worldwide head of diversity for Micron. Also, Bo Macheo from Intergovernmental Affairs was in attendance, but of all of the officials, it's Heather Baldwin, who is in the supplier diversity procurement chain, that is most relevant to our audience. Micron has been very, clear to not make any assumption regarding the nature of the goods and services that they are going to be in the market for. And again, the purpose of last February's reception was to introduce those executives to our audience and them to those executives so that they know that we do have entrepreneurs and business owners, women and those of color who stand ready to help fill that procurement gap.
And if you fast forward then to this week, a couple of things happened, but let's start with the Micron community engagement announcement. And I mentioned that because they introduced a concept to the community, a board, et cetera. What's this community engagement group going to do? And I don't mean to bury the lead. Governor Hochul and the CEO of Micron were in town together to make this announcement. Among other things, they had toured the facility up in the potential facility up in Clay. And just that there's starting to, they're basically saying to the community, we coming, folks. We really are coming, and we want to re-emphasize our commitment. That's my short and sweet takeaway about what that was all about. But let's talk about this meeting this past week, one of the events this past week.
Certainly. Well, Micron has most certainly done due diligence and their research on the region, and Syracuse in particular. They're aware of the historical poverty in this community, and so the essence behind Thursday's historic announcement is that they will be investing to the tune of somewhere between $250,000, $500 million into community projects, supporting, infrastructure, daycare, transportation, workforce development, and so on and so forth. And so they have selected 15 individuals, some of whom are ex officio, to advise Micron on where and how to invest those dollars.
When you think about, and these are people that we know who are in the community, but this is a tremendous opportunity. Did Micron detail how folks should engage themselves with this committee to let those opportunities be known?
Absolutely. The press releases are out there for your audience to Google. So many of the names are, well known, and I am so happy and proud of them. They have an awesome responsibility in front of them, but they're going to be excellent stewards of this historic investment.
Mm-hmm. And so they didn't detail how to actually get the money, right? They didn't really say, okay, this is how you do it. Basically, here's the group, details to follow, pretty much.
I would imagine that the committee no doubt needs to internally self-organize and, develop all of that, infrastructure before they, put anything out there publicly.
But we do know that Melanie Littlejohn and Tim Penix are the co-chairs. So we do know that. So, and
absolutely,
Melanie, you of course know, vice president over at National Grid, and Tim Penix, the vice president over at the SUNY EOC. So good friends of the program as well, and so excited for them. And it's a great opportunity. Again, this is what the second visit the governor has made with Micron over the last few months. I mean, she's been here for other things, but I know that it was great for her to come. And with Sanjay being here, Sanjay also coming to be a part of that, to really, again, reiterate the commitment, because people want to make sure that this commitment is fulfilled. And so great events there as well. Mache, from a UMEA perspective, and there was a lot of people, businesses from UMEA in the place. How do you see UMEA fitting into that puzzle?
Absolutely. So, George, I simply get elated when UMEA members are in the House representing, making their presence known. One of UMEA's informal slogans, if you will, is it's all about the access, right? It's about being in the room, gleaning the information, making connections that will hopefully lead somewhere, ideally to contracting and procurement opportunities. And so not only was UMEA in the House, so to speak, over there at the On Center in full force on Friday during the governor's announcement. Moreover, one of UMEA's very own members, Anna Gill Photography, was one of the official photographers for that day, trailing the Micron executives and elected officials and VIPs throughout the entire day, during their visit. And I had the unexpected opportunity, we'll just call it right place, right time type opportunity to engage the worldwide CEO just for, a couple of minutes and to thank him and his staff on behalf of UMEA in terms of intentionally engaging our audience. So for example, this upcoming week, Micron will host an encore presentation virtually on how to do business with Micron.
That's outstanding. We're talking with Michelle Brooks-Rolling. Michelle is the executive director of the Upstate Minority Economic Alliance, a quote chamber, minority, and I say quote minority chamber. Minorities in the word, so that's what we got to use. But the Minority Economic Chamber of Commerce. Okay, so one of the things that we know happened this week was the Business of the Year. And Michelle, I'm just going to share my screen real quick. And here are the nominees. So here we go. Michelle, do your best presentation and go through the list of who these businesses are.
Thank you, George. Well, first of all, I would like to congratulate all three of these finalists.
Tell us about each one.
Yes, of course. UMEA's membership rolls are swelling, and so for them to be selected as the top three is simply outstanding. We'll start with Melodies. Melody Smith Johnson, that is located in Auburn, and she is Cayuga County's first Black co-owned co-working development space purveyor. So that's who Melody is. And then you have JHP Industrial Supply. President and CEO is Emmanuel Henderson. We know him as EMO, and JHP Industrial Supplies provides just what you see in the title, industrial supplies within the construction industry. And JHP is family owned for
legacy
decades.
Business. Yeah.
Legacy business, family owned for decades, and I want to say highly philanthropic, but I could use the word quietly philanthropic just as much as highly. And then last but not least, drum roll, the winner emerged as Collins Barber and Beauty Shop, owned by Charleston and Mary Collins. They've served the Syracuse community for 55 years as another minority-owned family business. The Collins were located for many, many years on the corner of Krause and Fayette, and recently moved to their new location on Erie Boulevard. And, one of those businesses that persevered throughout the pandemic. And so UMEA is excited to be on the sidelines and watch all of these businesses continue to grow and prosper.
And I got to say, congratulations, Mr. Collins. And I'm not talking about Charleston, but I am talking about Charleston But the senior Mr. Collins, who passed away, was one of my first barbers when I moved to Syracuse as a freshman back in 1977, attending Syracuse University. So Mr. Collins was my barber, and I say to Charlton, I said, you're Mr. Collins now, right? But congratulations to them. I was in the barber this past week. Tyson is my barber over there. Shout out Tyson. And I had intentionally told Michelle I don't want to know who won. I didn't know who won, and I avoided all press announcements of the winner, right? And so when I was in the barber, I was like, gee, I know they were nominated. Should I say congratulations? But I don't want to know. But they don't have anything up in their store yet that says they won. But I don't want them to think that I don't want to congratulate them. So I never said anything. So
Yeah,
I mean, what I'll do is I'll just text Tyson and say congratulations. Tell Dad that I didn't know when I was in the barbershop, because I certainly would have said something,
right.
but I was intentionally not saying something. So
Right. Well, George, that's actually a good point. One thing that I can say about all three of the finalists, and of course the winner, is that they are such humble people.
yeah.
I kid you not when I say that on the day of the announcement there at the On Center, I literally had to go find one of them. I was frantically looking for them because we had seats reserved for them in the front of the convention center. I was frantically looking for one of them and found them sitting in the back. That's literally there's no words. That speaks for itself.
Yeah. Michelle, I think this is your opportunity also to talk about why people should consider membership as well.
I appreciate that, George. So being that we are a chamber of commerce, one of the, I guess, education gaps that I have found in this position is to share that when you sign up to become a member of UMEA, it is an investment, not just a cost. Just don't look at the price tag, and we work hard to keep it affordable, but it is an investment, because when you pay for chamber membership, you receive a variety of benefits. Our website is upstatemea.com, Upstate MEA, Minority Economic Alliance.com. You'll see all the membership benefits there. And in doing so, the organization is invested on your behalf to get out there and not only provide access to capital, the number one challenge that businesses of color face, but also strategic networking, facilitated introductions, which are two of our value propositions in the sea of stakeholders that we collaborate and partner with, and a plethora of other amenities such as award nominations, and I receive calls all the time regarding potential board assignments and things of that nature. But the most important component, of course, is being there or it's connecting our businesses to the resources in the entrepreneurial ecosystem to help them grow and sustain their business enterprises. And then, of course, UMEA reserves its capacity and bandwidth, if you will, to provide organic training to that end as well.
You love your job, don't you? And tell me why.
I enjoy the people that I get to interact with and help. Today is Sunday, if it's okay to date this video, and I remember hearing a sermon not too far back in church regarding, one of, our purpose and mission in life. And one of the purposes and missions of all of us is to help people flourish, regardless of what that looks like. And this is one of the ways I enjoy helping other people flourish.
Is it a ministry in your mind?
To an extent, it is. And I'll tell you why. Um, this week, obviously, UMEA was in attendance for two events, the Center State CEO's annual meeting where the Minority Business of the Year award was announced, and Governor's Micron's community engagement announcement. And there is one female entrepreneur in our midst who is a veteran and who is overcoming trauma in her life. And actually, let me backtrack. There was 3 events this week because Pathfinder Bank hosted Mentoring Mondays over there at Drumlin's Country Club.
Mm-hmm.
So this same individual I saw two or three times, at least 2 times this week. And it has taken courage for her to come out of her home environment and her shell, to just get out there and begin networking again. We haven't even gotten to the business component, right? Just that alone has been a challenge that she's trying to overcome. And so when she sends a message about how this is important to her and helping her, then yes, that's when you realize that this is ministry work.
You know, and you're the chief evangelist, because I don't know if you've ever been, when I'm at an event with Michelle, this sister knows how to work a room. And that is why, as the executive director, they couldn't pick a better person, because you are going to advocate. And I've seen, he's like, I've seen it done. You will say, here's this person, that person does this. And you're doing this on behalf of the membership. So as a member, I want to say thank you for that work, because I think it's important. And I think oftentimes you obviously are an entrepreneur on your own, but you also look out and make sure that people's time, their business entities are respected and that they're paid. And I think, and I know that sounds simple, but for a lot of entrepreneurs in this community, that simple thing has been a struggle, and you know it has been. And so to have somebody there to advocate and ensure to the best of your ability that they're fairly compensated and that they're connected is something that I just want to shout you out for. How do you feel when you hear that?
Oh, wow. George, I really do appreciate that, because yeah, I do have days where I feel, quite frankly, that it's a thankless job. Not that I'm looking, for accolades. But I can also say that I personally have been blessed with tremendous social capital. There is no reason under the sun for me to hoard that.
Mm-hmm.
Any kind of social capital that either I or the organization, I personally or the organization is blessed with, part of my role is to take that and turn right back around and make sure that our members benefit.
I remember Michelle gave me, I'll just say this. Michelle says, you want to make a connection? Well, then you need to do this. And I did what she said, and the connection was made and business was secured. So I want to tell you that you did. I'll tell you off camera what that was, but I just want to say that I appreciated that very much, and I did what you said. So there you go. And Michelle's kind of, she's like, you need to be over there. If you want this to happen, you need to be over there. So I appreciate that. Lastly, Michelle, in terms of what you would hope to see from this community's support of minority and women-owned businesses, or what minority and women-owned businesses need to think about for themselves going forward. I know there's certifications. I know that there's other ways that people can secure and procure. And this is a debate. Do you need certifications? Do you don't? Well, if it's a good thing because it helps, right? It really does. I look at it this way: anything that you can have in your pocket that you can benefit from, do it, right? Now I say that as an entrepreneur that hasn't done it yet, but and that's full transparency. I mean, it's not like the resources aren't there. It's not like UMEA doesn't have workshops on it. It's not like it's not like you don't have all of that, but I know that there's some resources here. So going back to what I was initially asking you about in terms of, going forward, or what businesses need to do, or what business need to think about, however you choose to answer that 29-second 22-hour question.
Certainly. Well, let's table MBWE certification, because that's a lot to unpack, and that's a topic in and of itself.
Yeah.
With respect to businesses, the message that I would put out there and encourage folks is to shore up. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times people say, I want that contracting or procurement opportunity, but they're not 100% ready. Just from where I sit in this seat, I see holes that need to be patched up. So I would encourage them, first of all, if you're a member of UMEA already, read your newsletter, your monthly newsletter that's chock full of informational resources. And otherwise, simply make sure that your business is 360 degrees. Because yes, Micron's coming. And you know what, George? There's other businesses that are already here, such as Lotte Biologics over there in East Syracuse, and other established enterprises where opportunities abound. And of course, UMEA will do its part in making sure those connections are facilitated and whatnot. But I do encourage business owners and entrepreneurs, take a look at your business, and don't let little bitty rudimentary things neglected or left undone cause you to miss out on potentially grand opportunities.
With that being said, Ms. Shea Brooks Rowling is the executive director of the Upstate Minority Economic Alliance. Ms. Shea, let's get those websites and how do people connect?
Certainly. Do you want me to put UMEA's website in the chat?
Sure.
Okay. All right. www.upstatemea.com.
Great. UpstateMEA.com is the website. And what is the phone number, please?
The phone number is 315-314-8074.
All right. 315-314-8074. UpstateUMEA.com. Upstate UMEA. UpstateUMEA.com.
Correction. Sorry. It's Upstate MEA, not UMEA, but Upstate MEA.com.
Oh, so I messed up. Okay. I added the U. UpstateMEA.com. UpstateMEA.com is how you get how you find out more about what is happening at the Upstate Minority Economic Alliance. Any last thing you want to impart on? Any last wisdom, Michelle, that you would like to impart on our audience?
Not that I can think of at this time. Again, George, you are a true friend of the chamber, and we appreciate you.
All right.
Amplifying our message.
There you go. I'm just trying to help a sister out here and help the community out as well. And I just put this up. Here's the website, Central New York's first and only minority chamber of commerce, UpstateMEA.com. All right, there you go. All right, that's it. I'm George Kilpatrick, Ms. Shea Brooks Rowling. Thank you so much. You are listening, watching Inspiration for the Nation, whether it's on your podcast, whether it's on the radio, wherever you are, we are here to help you. Inspiration for the Nation.